right. Y'all bear with me because I'm working with 3 different devices right now. 4 actually. So let me make sure I'm good everywhere. Boom, boom, boom. All right, and we're gonna get started here in a Ooh, I'm excited. I'm just giving people a second to come on the live here. I'm trying to see how I like my lighting. You need to back up a little bit here. Okay, it's cool. All right, let me get my recording going. Welcome to Cool Weirdos Podcast. I am your host, Asha Cerise. And we're back. This is our first episode for 2023. I'm real excited because 2022, I dropped a few episodes, but life happened. Things didn't. You know what? You know what it is? This is what I'm doing different this year. I decided to come and do these shows live because what was hindering me, this is one of my excuses. If you haven't figured it out yet, I got excuses, y'all. I'm going to say it's a reason, but it's really an excuse. But one of the things that hindered me from wanting to continuously drop these shows is because I was pre-recording them and then having to do the editing for shows that were over an hour long. And it just became too much. So I dropped the ball on that. But now we're doing it live. So welcome to the Cool Weirdos Podcast. I'm YouTube channel. Link is in my bio. We're on Facebook and we are on Instagram. So Instagram, if y'all have any questions, if y'all want to join in on this live chat, make sure you add them to the question box. That would be better for me because if I'm not paying attention and the comments start scrolling up, I won't have to scroll down to see what you're saying. And I'm also recording live for my Spotify and Apple podcast listeners. So again, we live on YouTube, Asha Cerise on YouTube, Facebook, Asha Cerise on Facebook, Instagram, Asha Cerise on Instagram, and we're recording for our audio listeners on Spotify and Apple Music. So let's get right into the topic. We're going to be touching on a few different things today, but I'm going to start off on a particular subject and then we're going to make our way back. So this is what I mean by that. The title of this episode is You Fumbled the Ball. Good women aren't appreciated until they're gone. Now I know this is going to ruffle a few feathers, but if it does not apply, just keep it moving. If it resonates with you, take it. If not, leave it. And this also can apply to men as well. Men, hey angel nerd. But men, this can apply to you as well, but I'm speaking from the perspective of a Black woman, which is what I am, and the only perspective that I can speak from. So I understand that you too might be able to relate to what I'm saying, but the title is You Fumbled the Ball. Good women aren't appreciated until they're gone. But anyway, again, this is the Cool Weirdos Podcast. Cool Weirdos is my brand, if you are not aware of that, and weirdo is an acronym. It stands for While Everyone is Replicating, Demonstrate Originality. This is for unique individuals who are free thinking and free spirited and march to the beats of their own drum. You know, people like me. And the podcast is all about healing, self-love, relationships, and trending topics. So I posted a reel, and the song attached to that reel was Gotta Move On by Diddy and Bryson Tiller. I tried to put it on Instagram, y'all. They blocked me, so I had to switch it up to Maya Moving On, but it originally was supposed to have Gotta Move On, which is on my TikTok and my Facebook. The reason I chose that song is because it kind of related to what I wanted to talk about. That song was written, I don't know who all wrote it, but it was about Diddy's relationship with Cassie. And if you don't know, Diddy and Cassie were together for over a decade, like 10, 11 years. And she basically spent most of her 20s with Diddy. As you all know, Diddy, he's not necessarily your typical monogamous man, right? Yes, he has money. Yes, he's rich. Yes, he's famous. But we're just talking about the status and the way they get down. Diddy was with Cassie for all of these years, but did not put a ring on it. He did not give her any children. And we can only speculate as to what really happened in their situation. All we know is that they broke up in like 2018, shortly before Kim Porter passed away. And if you don't realize, Kim Porter was his, long time girlfriend as well. And she birthed not one, not two, but three of his children. And when she passed away, Cassie had just broken up or left Diddy. And she came back, to support him during that time when Kim Porter passed away. But, she went on about her business after, the initial grief and mourning phases. But anyway, to reel it on back, during the time of Cassie and Diddy's relationship, he was off and on with Kim Porter. He did have, you know, children from other women, I believe. I think Chance was probably born within that time frame or right before when it comes to his relationship with Kim Porter. With Kim Porter, she even said in an interview that she agreed to be exclusive to Diddy while he was, you know, being himself. While he was gallivanting around with J-Lo and doing all kind of stuff, Kim Porter was still his down person. So those two women were long-term girlfriends of Diddy, kind of overlapping Diddy, Cassie and Kim Porter. But back to Cassie, when she broke up with him, shortly after that, she got married. She had children, two daughters by this new man out of the blue. I guess the man was her personal trainer, and Diddy actually hired him. So that's a little messy, but I'm not really trying to talk about the mess of it. It's just the fact that we can only speculate, but it seems based off of those actions that she took immediately after leaving Diddy and the lyrics of the song Gotta Move On, it sounds like Cassie wanted more. It sounds like she wanted to be married. She wanted children. And those were things that Diddy wasn't either offering her at all or not offering her within the time frame that she desired it. So she pretty much gave all of her 20s to him. And when she got in her 30s and started seeing that things weren't changing, she moved on. And I feel like I don't want to just make this about a celebrity thing. It relates to the average relationship. A lot of times people get in these relationships and they don't think that their woman will ever leave. They think that they're always going to be there. They think that we can work it out. We can work through it. She'll get over it. She might get mad and leave, but she'll be back. And this was the time where she did not come back. It was over. And he's saying with this song, Gotta Move On, he wasn't going to move on. But the fact that she got married and had these children, he had no choice but to move on. But even though she's had these children and got married, he's still making a song about her. He still shouted her out, I think at the BET Awards that just passed in 2022. So he's not over it, basically. Even when it comes to, he's dating Young Miami right now, and on her podcast, Carisha Please, and every podcast that's really playing on Revolt right now. I know he's promoting a song. Diddy is a master at marketing. So all of it is marketing, to be honest. But for you to be dating somebody and the intro to their podcast has to be a song that you created for another woman, you ain't over that woman. I am streaming on several different platforms right now. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I'm recording for my streaming listeners on Spotify and Apple Music, but thank you. This is the first day, so it's going well so far. But yes, for him to still be making music about a woman and playing it on the new woman's podcast, that's deep. And you shouting her out, she meant something to him. So even though they broke up, they had to move on, he had to move on, it's not really by choice. And I feel like that happens with a lot of men. You have this woman is waiting for you, this woman is down for you, this woman is all the things that you want. And for whatever reason, you take her for granted, or you think that she won't ever leave, she won't ever get tired of whatever you're presenting to her. You get content, whatever the case is. And then when she leaves, all of a sudden you're shocked. I don't get it. And that's why I also put on that video 3 of the signs that a woman, or I put your partner is mentally or emotionally checking out, has checked out of the relationship. Because most of the time with women, we leave the relationship emotionally and mentally way before we physically leave. And for some reason, men act shocked when a woman leaves, but there's so many different signs outside of a woman just basically telling you she's not happy or telling you the things that she needs in order for you all to have a successful relationship, or you to get back on track. Even asking, what could she do? What do you need? How can we do this? There's so many signs that happen that people either don't pay attention to or they just simply ignore. So let's get into those. And my question that I'm putting on the table before I even move forward is, why do men wait until it's too late? Why do men wait until it's too late? Again, it can apply to women as well, but I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. So, some of the signs, I talked about 3 of them, but we're going to talk about a few more. So, the sudden change in priority. So, instead of prioritizing you all's relationship, she starts prioritizing, more of her friendships, really getting into her self-care, getting into new hobbies, hanging out with people, going out with friends, being in her phone more, whatever. She's kind of disconnected from whatever y'all got going on, and she's more focused on self and others. Now, being focused on self or prioritizing yourself and cultivating other relationships is not a bad thing. But I think a lot of people don't start off that way. They don't start off maintaining that level of self-love and self-care and focusing on themselves in in a certain way when they start to be in love. When you start to be in love, you forget about yourself, you lose yourself. So once there's trouble in paradise, all of a sudden people start saying, you know what? I need to start dating me sometimes. I need to start putting myself first. I want to go out with my friends. You're reaching out to people that you didn't fell out with or don't hardly speak to because you've been booed up. All the friends that you haven't really been studying while you've been in this lovey-dovey honeymoon phase of this relationship. Now all of a sudden you're reaching out. You're trying to go to brunch, trying to have girls' nights. That's why I find it very important, which is a lesson that I've had to learn several times. That individuality, maintaining a sense of individuality is very important. That's why I suggest getting into your life before you get into a relationship, because a lot of people they don't have a sense of individuality as a single person, let alone trying to get into a relationship and maintain that. So it starts in your season of single. If you're single and you don't know what you like, you don't have any hobbies, you don't have any interests, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not, taking yourself out and doing the things that you want somebody else to do for you, you definitely not going to know how to do those things once you are pouring into someone else in a relationship. So that's a sign that somebody is checking out, because if they've been only focused on you and us and we and our, and their conversation now is switching to me, I, my, they're doing just suddenly. It's not something that they gradually say, you know what, I think we both need to start cultivating our own activities and individual friendships. It's just a sudden change. You might want to tune in to what's really going on, especially if you all are having issues and then all of a sudden they on a self-care journey. Number 2, not initiating conversation. So they're only talking to you when spoken to. They're only answering questions. When they do talk to you, they dry as hell. They are giving you one-word answers. They don't care. They don't care how you doing. They don't care how your day was. They're not asking you anything about your future plans. They don't care. Y'all just in the house together, just walking around. Or maybe you don't live together and you just, they don't talk to you unless you call them. So if you're noticing that and you're not thinking, this person seems like they're disconnected from me, then you're not tapped in and tuned into your own relationship. Number 3, not I ain't gonna say not arguing, but not engaging in arguments, not initiating them either. At that point, they're unbothered. They not going back and forth with you. You got it. No, all right, whatever you say. As soon as you get rowdy on the phone, okay, bloop, click. So it's it's complete disconnect. They don't have any energy left to give you, whether that's good or bad energy. So pay attention to these signs because they checking out. They 1 foot out the door already. Huge one here. No intimacy or no sex. Those are two different things. I've talked about it before. Um, Lack of intimacy. They don't want to be touched. They don't want to be kissed. They don't want to be hugged, and they definitely not having sex. So if there's a sudden change when all of a sudden your partner doesn't want to be intimate with you, doesn't want to have sex with you, obviously there's something going on. They probably 1.5 feet out the door. Um, Again, just low tolerance, extra irritated. Anything you say just gets on their nerves. You know what's next. And I would say another one is no longer addressing concerns. So like I said before, when you're really invested in a relationship, you're trying to make it work. You're putting in effort in making it work. You're saying, what can we do? How can we fix this? What's going on? What can I do on my part? At this point, they don't care about any solutions. They're not trying to resolve anything. They good. It is what it is. So if you are in a relationship or you're talking to somebody and you're invested in a long-term connection with this person and you're starting to see these type of signs and you're not picking it up, you might be disconnected from the relationship as well. So it sounds like y'all need to either have a conversation or just move on, like Diddy and them say. And I wanted to talk about some of the reasons why women have left relationships. So I took a poll earlier on Facebook, and a lot of times people think that people only break up when there's abuse or when there is um, adultery or cheating going on. But some of the reasons that women put were growth and transformation switch. So I'm assuming that maybe they either stop growing, stop trying to evolve in the relationship, and that caused them to no longer want to be with that person. Another one was they were an alcoholic and they were stagnant in growth, again, not willing to deal with trauma, which is huge. A lot of people bring so much baggage into the relationship and have all of these issues, and they refuse to do what's needed in order to heal their own trauma. And, a partner, your woman, whoever can come to this workshop, read this book, journal, meditate, pray, go to church with me. If that person doesn't want to deal with it and don't want to do the work, there's literally nothing you can do about it. Me and my mom just went to a live unscripted play called A Shell of a Man. Shout out to Tina Bridges for putting that on. And it talked about a lot of the issues that men face, such as alcoholism, being abusive, being molested in their past that affects them in their current relationships, depression, mental illness in other ways, the dreamer, all of these different things that men are dealing with and how it affects them in their relationships. So my mom asked, because they did a Q&A at the end, how does the woman in the relationship, if she's dealing with a man that's like that, how does she present to him that he should get some help? And, a couple of the men said different things, different ways, listen to them, just say it. But one man really said something that really stuck out to me, and he was just like, no matter what you say or how you say it, if that man does not want to receive that and doesn't want to do the work, there's literally nothing you can do. And I totally agree with that. So that's huge, the not wanting to deal with the trauma. Emotionally immature. That's a big one. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. Drama with children's mothers. I actually recorded a podcast about being a step parent. I recorded it last year and I never released it. I may release it this year. Um, and that's really big. Dealing with your partner's co-parents. If it's drama there, that's going to definitely bring turmoil to the relationship, and it's a headache. Not willing to grow again, and cheating, of course. So it's not just about cheating and abuse. There are other things that occur in these relationships that make a woman check out and then bounce on that ass. So I wanted to move forward in the conversation, but kind of go backwards in the process. So we're talking about people checking out of the relationships and some of the reasons why, and how you're not noticing the signs that this person is mentally and emotionally checking out. But how did we get here? Because how are these relationships starting? How are people vetting each other? What are the qualifications in order to get into these relationships that you end up miserable in? So I said on my Facebook last week, a lot of these men think that the only things they need in order to get the woman they desire is money and height. I said money and or height. I said, don't let them be tall with money and you can't tell them nothing. And y'all know what happened when I said that. The men came out and they said, well, that's pretty much true. It is right. Somebody said, oh, they don't even have to have money because a lot of these women's baby daddies is tall and broke. A few men said, well, women, you set the bar, you set the tone. Y'all made it that way. And guess what? I agree. Women, we we are mostly to blame for that. We have hyped these tall fools up so much that when you get on these dating sites and you look through pictures, you're like, okay, he seems pretty nice. Let me scroll and look at his page. You see a couple pictures. Oh, okay. You go look for the bio. He don't even bother to put anything about himself in there. It says 6'4". Okay, well, what else you got? But apparently that's all you need for a lot of these women to just be tall. I I'm tall myself, so I love a tall man as well, but that is not enough. A lot of these men think that they don't have to have anything but money in order to get the woman that they desire. Oh, when I get my money up, I can have access to these women. I got money now, I have access to this caliber of woman. And it's partly true, but it's still, once again, it's not enough. So, yes, when you have your money together, not just being stable, but when you have money, yes, you do unlock a little door to be able to access different women that may not have looked at you when you were broke or when you didn't have anything. But when I say get, am I talking about attracting that woman, or am I talking about actually being able to say that that woman is willing to be in a relationship with you? And then when I say desired woman, I'm not just talking about physical attraction, because you can find a fine fool. You can get with a woman that looks good, she's sexy, but she get on your damn nerves, and that's somebody you couldn't see yourself being with. So when I say desired woman, I mean your dream woman that checks off a lot of your boxes. She looks good. She, you know, has a great personality. She has her stuff together. You could see her being the mother of your children. She has great values. Those type of things. That is what I'm talking about. And when I say men think that all they need is height and money in order to get that, I can't agree that that's all you need, because it's not. It definitely requires more. So I asked men on my story, what are the 3 qualities men need to possess in order to get their desired women? Because for some reason on the post on my page, y'all was saying that height and money is everything that you need. But then when I asked in my story, your story changed. So some of the men didn't understand what I was saying, and they answered as if they were saying, what 3 qualities do women need? So I'll address that as well. So some of the responses were confidence, intelligence, and open-mindedness. Now that I don't know if he was talking about what men need or what women need. I don't know if he understood the question or not, but I think that could go either way. Another person said stability, discipline, and transparency. Another person say, plug your ears. This is not a child show. Good dick, good job slash career, and ability to communicate. Someone else said honesty, a great job, and outgoing. Another person said emotional IQ, follow through, and love. Someone else said able to communicate, understand, and trust slash respect. And someone else said putting your purpose first, being masculine, and understanding how to talk to her. Now, the ones that answered thinking that I was asking for qualities of women, they said honesty, respect for me and herself, and ability to manage finances slash household. Someone else said feminine, cooperative, and sexiness. And then someone else said love, listening, and appreciation. So, if y'all know this, how do you not know that women require more than just money and height? Because no one even meant, two people mentioned job and career. Other than that, money wasn't mentioned by anybody. Stability. But for some reason, y'all want to put on this little fake outrage on my page because that's what the cute thing is to do. But y'all know. And so I asked this question to women as well. And I said, what qualities, the top 3 qualities do you desire from a man? And please tell me if, oh, hold on. I got to make sure I'm still recording. I got to take a little intermission after 30 minutes and re-record. But tell me if I'm missing it. But let's see if height or money are on this list. Qualities women desire from men: chemistry, compatibility, and respect, leadership, work ethic, um, work ethic skills. So leadership skills and work ethic was in parentheses. Intellect, romantic abilities, unity, effective communication, and faithfulness. Mentally stable, good family connection, financially stable. And she says that physical attraction is just a given. She's just assuming that this person she's physically attracted to, if she's even considering them a possibility. Self-respect, stability, and substance. Loyalty, stability, and communication. And commitment, stability, and effective communication. So we can say stability can equate to wanting money, but it's not necessarily saying they have to be rich. That's just something that every adult should have: stability, right? Nobody mentioned anything about height, and nobody said they had to be a millionaire. So I think that we need to stop this battle of the sexes war, thinking that women are just so superficial that that's all that we want. And men, you guys got to stop acting like you don't know that you need more than height and money to get the woman that you want. And if you don't know that, let's talk about it. We're going to stop this recording and restart. But yes, we definitely need to talk about that, because if you really think that, you are sadly mistaken, my boy. Let's see. All right, we back. So, one of the things I feel like is big for women when it comes to a man, and this is what I talked about last week on not last week, but a couple weeks ago on our Table Talk Thursday podcast. I said that a non-negotiable for me is a man that lacks emotional intelligence. And I'm not sure if everybody knows what that means. So I want to break down the areas of emotional intelligence that I'm talking about, or what makes up emotional intelligence. So self-awareness, which is huge, and that's like number 1 for me. The ability to recognize your own emotions, strengths, and limitations, and how it impacts others around you. Be self-aware. Like, that's just Baseline right there. Self-regulation, the ability to wisely manage your emotions and your impulses. And I said that, being able to self-regulate, not being out of control. Like, are you able to check yourself when you're getting upset? Are you able to pull yourself back from just impulsively reacting and cutting up, acting a damn fool, basically? Empathy. This is another one that's huge for me because a lot of people lack empathy. Being able to identify and understand others' emotions. So even that goes back to what's talking about men not recognizing the signs of a woman that has mentally or emotionally checked out. And again, this can go both ways, but I'm just saying, if you haven't, if you're not able to pay attention to your woman or notice that she's not there, she's on her way out the door, your ass lacks empathy. Or you just don't care. Like, how do you not notice those things? Motivation, enjoying what you do, working towards achieving goals, and not being motivated just by money and status. And that goes back to some of the things that the women say that they want, or some of the things that women say that they have left relationships because of not wanting to grow, lack of willingness to grow. That was 3 people said that out of like 6 responses. Social skills, effective at managing relationships that benefit everyone involved. So that's important. How do you conduct yourself with other people in certain settings? Like, how do you communicate with others? How are you networking? All of those things. Um, we're going to talk about the petty turnoffs in a second. But emotional intelligence is huge. And I think a lot of people lack that emotional intelligence, emotional maturity. And when it comes to these men that think that all I got to do is get my money up, like I've talked to guys that are struggling with their relationships with women and connecting with women or getting with women that they like. And then all of a sudden it falls apart. And then their only thought is, when I get my money up, or that's all right, I'm gonna just keep focusing on get my money up. It's not that. It's there's so many things that make a man desirable that are things that you can change. It's not necessarily changing who you are. Like, you deserve to be accepted as you are. It's not that you're unworthy as you are, but there are certain things that you can do for development, character development, building your confidence. A lot of men think that they're confident and they're really not. And we can see that. Confidence is not being a showboater or bragging on what you got or thinking that you fine. Like, the essence and the energy that you possess, that masculine energy that you just exude because you know yourself, you are comfortable within yourself, and you don't need anybody else to validate you. That level of confidence sometimes takes work for some men that may be insecure about certain things or may have dealt with trauma or bullying or being mentally or emotionally abused by women, or whatever the case is, where the confidence is lacking. We can feel that, we can see that. So working on building your confidence, working on some confidence boosters are building your skills, building your knowledge, doing the self work, affirming yourself, putting on some things that make you feel good. Those type of stuff, those type of things can build your confidence with just little to no, it's little effort like that. Um, Being able to have a conversation. Some of y'all ain't talking about shit. It's crazy because some of y'all really ain't talking about shit. And I hear it from men too. Men say that some of these women ain't talking about shit either. But just being able to enhance your conversational skills, you don't have to know every damn thing. You don't have to know what's all going on in current events and trending topics and all that. But just being able to carry a conversation and not rely on someone else to initiate the conversation, to ask you questions, to turn a conversation into an interrogation or an interview. Baby, what you got? You don't want to know anything about me. You don't have any stories to tell me, anything interesting to share with me. Like, enhance your conversational skills. Um, Being romantic. And this doesn't require a lot of money, y'all. I think that some men equate romance with money. Be romantic on your level of funds. There's something you can do. If you ain't got no money, figure out how you can go to a damn park and set up a blanket and a fucking uh write some little things on a card, on some cards, and play a game. Like, there's so many things that you can do. I like, if you're in a relationship or if you're dating someone exclusively, I think romance jars are really cool to create. Like, write a bunch of ideas that you can come up with on your level of money, on your level of what you can afford. If you don't have much money, then there's things that you could do for free or that don't cost a lot of money. And if you have money, go from there. Write a bunch of ideas down, cut them, rip them up, put them in the jar, and that's how you can kind of be spontaneous by pulling something out of that jar and just doing it for that week. So you don't have to rack your brain about it if romance doesn't come naturally to you, but it's something that you're interested in doing, because all women want it. Regardless of what they're saying, all women want some type of level of romance based on her love language and things that she finds to be romantic. That's going to differ from for each woman. Every woman doesn't like rose flowers. Some women like plants. Some women don't like none of that. Some women like, a massage. Some women like you to randomly wash the dishes and clean the house if that's not your norm. Some women prefer thoughtful cards and letters, handwritten letters. Like, do something romantic. That's important to women. And we're hearing a lot about what men want and what you desire. You want us to be fit and feminine and cooperative and all of these things, and that's fine. Y'all have the right to say what y'all need from us, and we have to take heed to that, and we have to listen. If we want to be with the men that we desire, we have to listen to what y'all want. But that goes both ways. If y'all desire to be with women, there is nobody has the upper hand here. If we want to be with each other and we want to stop these gender wars, we have to listen to each other. We have to listen to each other's desires. And if it's out of what you want to do, find somebody that's going to deal with it, but don't judge someone else for requiring those things and having those standards. So, emotional intelligence, conversational skills, romance, and let's go back to the list of what women desire. So just like men want respect, women want respect as well. Leadership. So, a lot of men, I don't want to get into the masculine and feminine so much, but a lot of men want to lead and be the head of household and all of these things, but aren't really showing that they know how to do that within their own lives. So sometimes women are hesitant to just submit to a man that is not on the right path for himself. So, taking the time to get you together, taking some time to make sure that you know what you're doing as an adult, let alone a man, but just as an adult, before you're looking for someone else to tell what to do and follow this and follow that. And it has to be cohesive. It has to be a submitting to each other, not just a submission doesn't mean I control you, I run you, I own you. It just means that I agree with you, I trust you, I accept your, direction. A lot of people, I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but on this list, I think one person said loyalty, somebody said commitment. And loyalty is often brought up for women's list of qualities that they want from men. And my aunt, Shonda, aka Cleopatra, she talks about loyalty a lot too on her page, as far as why do people always ask for that. And my thing is, I don't put loyalty on my number one top list, top requirement on my list, because I feel like everybody should be loyal to themselves. I feel as though everybody has a certain set of standards and morals for themselves, right? And if you have a certain set of standards and morals that I agree with and I trust and I'm with you because we have shared values, my feeling is if you are loyal to those values, then I don't have to worry about policing you about being loyal to me. So that's a whole nother episode. But I think I'm gonna get into some other stuff that's a whole nother episode. So I'm gonna just wrap that up right there. But let's get into these turn offs. So I asked everybody what their petty turn offs are. when it comes to what is something that you don't like or that would turn you off in a partner that other people would consider petty. Before I get into that, Hamilton says women sometimes don't know what they want. You have to have loyalty. Um, are you saying that I don't know what I want because I'm saying that loyalty is not necessarily on my top list? But we'll get back to that. So for the turnoffs, I said, and mind you, let me just go into a little confession because the people that know me in my close circle, they know that I'm very highly irritable. I have a long list of pet peeves. But there's a reason for that. Like I'm I am an empath and I'm very spiritually in tune, more than people even know because I don't really talk to people about my spiritual gifts and the things that, I've had since I was a child. But because of that, I'm really highly sensitive. I'm highly sensitive to energies. I'm highly sensitive to people's moods, all of that. And then I've been through some things in life which creates hyper awareness. So people could be sitting around, we could be sitting around in the same room, and one person could be just relaxed and chilling, not thinking about nothing. But I can hear somebody across the room clicking their pen, somebody on the other side of the room tapping, somebody shuffling through their purse, somebody walking across the damn room, shuffling their feet with their slippers on, a damn bird chirping outside. Like, I hear it all. So by the time somebody else does something else, like smack or something, that other people might not be necessarily bothered by, I'm about to snap. And that's my own issue. Some people don't want to deal with that, but that's something that I'm working on, being able to regulate how highly irritable I am because I understand that about me, and my patience can be, people don't realize I have patience, but by the time I can't handle it anymore because I'm so stimulated by all the things that I'm hearing, noises, sounds, shuffling, smacking, irritable things, that I'm just like, "Ugh, what is that?" So that's why that happens. Um so three of the things that I wrote down for my petty list were poor or reckless driving skills. Um, what was the second one? Poor or reckless driving skills. Um, musical, not really into music, or music style is trash, and no friends. So two people, or somebody said that the first two things on my list, they've never heard anybody say that that's what's on their deal breaker list, and then um they didn't understand that, and then somebody also attacked my third thing on the list. So let's talk about that. Number one, this is another one of my issues, and some people don't have to deal with me because I got issues myself, y'all. I have high anxiety when it comes to driving. I think it's partly like a control thing. When I'm out of control, being on the passenger side, I can't control, what's going on. So how people drive is very important to me. If you speeding, slow this mug down. If you weaving in and out of traffic, what we doing? Why are we doing all this? Why are we moving this much? What's the rush? If you tailgating, I'm gonna need you to give these people a few seconds before we end up in their back seat. If you're doing all of that, it's just a no for me. And when it comes to the man that's gonna be in my life, men usually drive more than women. I like to be able to ride in the passenger seat, but I like to be comfortable. I like to feel safe. I like to know that you got me. I like to know that I'm going to make it alive. We going to make it to where we're going alive. So if you drive reckless, that is a deal breaker for me. I put it on my petty turnoffs, but that really is a deal breaker for me. The only reason why it's not necessarily always a deal breaker is because if I actually share that with you as my man or as someone that I'm dating, that how you're driving is making me uncomfortable, or can you slow down, or whatever my concern is, if you actually take the time to accommodate me and drive safer, or whatever I'm asking you to do, and you make a compromise for me, I appreciate that, and I will continue to date you. But I'm gonna be nervous when I'm not with you thinking that you're driving like a fool, but hopefully some of my concerns wear off on you so that you can make sure you make it home safely. But that a lot of people don't get that, but that's big for me. Most people don't even like driving with me in the car because I'm gonna say something. The second one, that's big for me, y'all. The music. I'm realizing more and more the older I get that how important that is to me. Like if we could create our own list of love languages that aren't the ones that have been created by the author, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and gifts. My number one love language will be music. And it's just you just vibe different. I have connected with people, with men on a different level, even when the attraction wasn't necessarily there, through music. We had a similar music taste and it was just like a whole vibe, and it just makes your connection just that much deeper. Like I've dated someone who wasn't really into music, or they liked music but they never wanted to play it. I'm like, if I'm over here chilling with you, I'm a woman, I'm your woman company for the evening, and I say, let's turn on some music and vibe, and you say no, I really need to get on up and go home, because if I've come over here to kick it with you and you can't accommodate a few things, adjust some things to let me be in a vibe, even if that's not your vibe, I'm I'm not even interested at this point. But even when men have music taste and it's just not relatable, it's like I don't like that, or they don't like what I like. It's just not the same. It's not a deal breaker, y'all. It's just a petty turn off. And the third one, not having friends. um it's not that you have to just be with your homies and be on the phone all the time or kick it all the time, but I do feel like that goes back to having that sense of individuality. If you don't have no friends and you don't have anybody that you hang out with outside of me, that means that I'm going to be the center of your world, which it's lovely to be prioritized by your man. I want you to prioritize me in your life. I want to be important to you. I want us to spend quality time with each other. But sometimes I want to do me. Sometimes I want to have my space. Sometimes I want to hang out with the people that I've cultivated relationships with over the years, my friends and family and loved ones that may not necessarily be appropriate for you to be alone with. It might be a girls' night. It might be whatever the case is, that I don't need to always be, oh, there go Asha and her man. You know, they connected at the hip. She can't do shit without him. We don't need to be like that. And then you might need somebody that you could talk about my ass with. I'm not opposed to my man having someone to counsel him, a close friend or something that he can vent to, that actually cares about what we have going on, not somebody that's going to be like, oh, F that be, leave, or no, not no bitter person or somebody that's not qualified to really give him advice, but have somebody else that you could talk to and bounce ideas off of, or vent to, or hang out with, or have your guys' night, have your time. Even female friends. As I've grown, I'm not opposed to my man having female friends. If they were there before I got here, hey girl, we ain't even got to be friends. We can be cordial. Um, but yeah, I connected with this guy once on a dating site, and he was telling me he ain't have no friends. He did not have no close relationships with no cousins or siblings. I'm like, oh no, get your ass on. So let's get into some of these comments. You look great, so small stuff doesn't bother me. Driving skills, me too. Friends is a must. Tish says, me too. Hamilton, I've been driving since 12 years old. Just because you've been driving since 12 don't mean you're a good driver. You could be a wild driver. Some of these people that have been driving since they were young, they think that they're invincible. Like another thing, like looking all around when you're driving, or not paying attention, or want to look in your passenger or the people in the back seat eyes while you're talking, looking at your phone, texting. Let me out at the next stop, please. Tish says, me either, as long as it's not a woman. So and Hamilton says, understandable, that is go you go fishing. Yeah, I know some women don't like their men to have women friends, and that's your business, but I don't mind, because I have great friends who are men that are my really true friends, and I value value my friendship with them, and I would not let them go as friends just because I have a man in my life, and I need a man that's secure enough and trust me enough to be okay with that. We grown. I don't need to regulate who you're friends with. Please don't do that for me, because if you trust me, if we in this together, you ain't got to worry about who I have as friends. You don't have to choose my friends for me. But I understand that everybody is not at that comfort level. I once wasn't either. I used to cut up about my ex's homegirls. Like, I would accuse him of stuff. I'd be answering phones, responding to texts. Girl, what? So I'm not there anymore. And, I don't even want to be there. It was more stress than anything. So some of the other turnoffs that were commented on my question earlier, these are from the men. Nasty house or car. Never traveled outside of Miami. Bad choice in restaurants. Lashes look like dust feathers. Easily jealous and bad temper. Education. I don't know if he's saying lack thereof or what. One man said women. I don't want to get blocked. And he also said women who watch reality TV. And he said big areolas. I have a question for him if he's watching. If a woman is having your children, because I know that with pregnancy, women's areolas get bigger. I haven't experienced it because I have no children yet. But if a woman starts off with an average size areola and it grows when she has your baby, are you going to be turned off by that? Another man said nasty house, car, or messy kids. And then the women said loud breathing and smacking. Woo! I feel you on that. Treating service people badly. I hate that, because how you treat anybody, that's a reflection of your character. And that's another thing on that list of things men need other than money and height. You need to have a great character. You need to have a personality that is likable. You need to have a sense of humor. Like, there are so many other things that you need outside of money and height. But back to this list. Boom. She said, speaking bad about their mother or their sister. That's huge as well. Because if you don't F with the women in your family, you definitely not going to value and respect me. And she said littering, throwing out garbage onto the trash in the street. That's big too. You don't care about the environment. You just going to litter like that. I had an ex that used to throw anything out the window. Fast food stuff, bloop. He would literally treat the earth like a trash can. Hey. Another woman said gold teeth and flashy. And then somebody else said not ashing the blunt before they pass it back. Because why would you do that? Why you didn't tap tap? So let's not sit up here and act like people don't have things that get on their nerves, that are deal breakers, that are not desirable. And let's get real. Let's stop acting like people are wrong for having preferences and things that they don't like. Like, come on. You've had a few accidents, Hamilton. You've been driving since you was 12 and you out here wrecking. Tish says, I have male friends, but my ex was telling me their friends would encourage him to break up. That's big. That's big too, because, those female friends, it just depends on their intentions. It's kind of, I see where you're coming from, but where my head is going is, what was he telling them? Because his perspective and your perspective might have been two different things. So the things that he might have been telling them probably made you look bad, or probably made the relationship look so terrible that maybe they didn't have no other advice but you need to just break up and leave that alone. You never know what these folks is telling these other people, but it could have been, they might have been haters. They could have been jealous. They could have been waiting on their spot. I don't know. So you say you're not a flow of traffic driver. I ain't gonna read that on here because we complaining. Okay, yeah. Somebody had said something about, are these reasonable Deal breakers are people just being superficial. And I think that in some ways, maybe it is superficial, but when you are selecting your person, there are certain things that you should be able to say you don't want to deal with and not be judged for, because nobody else has to be with this person but you. Like, there's so many single people that want to be in a relationship, and we out here single. We out here in this dating pool, and it sucks and whatever. But I'm very optimistic about it. Like, I don't want to be considered delusional or unrealistic, but I do feel like there's so many great men who are single that are looking for the right woman, and there's so many great women who are single that are looking for the right man. It's just a matter of when we gonna find each other. So keep hope alive, y'all, because we out here and we looking for each other. But I think that to say that things are superficial, like people judging you because you have preferences of what you find to be physically attractive. Like, shouldn't you be physically attractive to the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with? That doesn't mean this person has to be perfect, because there is no one that's perfect. But if you want somebody that you can look at across the table, wake up to first thing in the day, and go to sleep, things happen. We get older, people get into accidents, things can happen. But starting off, come on. Even when it comes to money, like, you can't say that you want a man who is financially stable without men saying black man can't be loved unless they got money. Where you get that from? Because I know so many broke men who have women that are driving their cars, that are using their money, that are flipping their taxes, that are doing all of these things. What you really want to say is you can't get the woman that you really desire when you don't have money. And that could mean that you looking for a woman that's fine, that she got money, that she has a great personality, she don't have kids, she's good in bed, she look good, she smell good, she feel good, and she make love good, in my James Brown voice. Y'all want all of that, but then you don't have anything to offer, and then you turn around and say black men can't be loved without having money. That's not true. Um, Dating can be rough, yes. Like you great to me, but I think you are a little crazy. Might be. Um, what you saying over here? I'm managing so many different platforms right now, so y'all have to give me a second. Mental attraction is good too, though. She just gotta be what you want. Okay, absolutely. Physical attraction, a lot of people, will judge folks for wanting a certain height. That's a whole. Should I get into it on this episode? Because that could be a whole show just right there. Let me stop my recording and re-record. Hold on. I don't know. I think sometimes with the little petite women, when y'all are like 5'5" and under, and y'all want y'all man to be 6'8", your preference is your preference. I get that. I'm not judging. But leave some of the tall men for the tall women. But for y'all to be judging us tall women because we want tall men, like, most tall women have dated short men. I've dated a man that is 5'5", 5'6", 5'7", 5'10", under 5'10". I'm 5'9.5". It comes with some things. Like, they have to be really confident, because if my height is never mentioned, if it's, you're confident, you're masculine, you sexy, you good, you got all these check marks, that is great. I'm not gonna just be like, you know what, nah, I can't do it. But the problem is, a lot of the times those smaller packaged men come with a lot of other things. They got the short man syndrome. They popping off. They want to prove that they tough. They want to fight you, fight everybody else. I got to be uncomfortable physically to do certain things. We can't even sit on the couch and take a selfie together without me having to slide down so it look right. I was dating one guy. I was in the bed. We were in the bed spooning, and it basically looked like I was giving him a damn piggyback ride. It was just, certain things. And then when I'm getting dressed and in the mirror getting ready for the evening out, I have my heels on. You walk in, you're right here, and now you're telling me I can't wear those shoes out. At this point, if I gotta switch my outfit up to accommodate your confidence, I'm good. But again, I said this on my reel the other day. It's not just the little men. I don't want to call y'all little men. It's not just the shorter men that make comments like that, because I went out with a man a couple months ago. On his profile, he said he was 6'3". Now, as a tall woman, I have become an expert in gauging a man's height when I'm with him, because I know when I have on my heels, I'm about 6'2", give or take a half an inch. So I already know where my head, where my eye level will be when I'm with you. So when I was with him, he wasn't giving 6'3", because I know what 6'3" look like when I have on heels, and I still, I can look up. He was like right here. So I'm thinking like, okay, he about 6'1", 6'1.5". So then he says, "Oh yeah, you pretty tall. You no," he was like, "I'm 6'2". And I was like, "Oh, I thought you said you was 6'3" on your site." He's like, "Oh, 1 inch is no big deal." Like, yes, it is. And you're not 6'2" either. You're 6'1". So he was making little comments like, because he walked me to my car at the end of the night, and I took my heels off and slid my slides on. And he's like, "Oh, okay. You see, you not that tall with your slides on. I could look down on you." So it's not just a shorter man thing. It's a lot of men, when it comes to tall women, they make these little comments, and they might be cute and playful to them, but I don't want to be talking about my height and how, "Oh, you ain't that tall." Like, that's not what I want. Like, I am a feminine woman. I do want to feel dainty and, just delicate when I'm with my man. I don't want to be hearing little comments about how my height is making you uncomfortable. So those are the things that kind of go on when it comes to that. Now, I don't want to make anybody feel a type of way when they're shorter or whatever, because that's something that you can't help. But you can't judge people for liking what they like. Like, when it comes to weight, height, size, frame, just get with somebody that likes what you got. I think we spend too much time trying to force people to have the preferences that fit us. If I see a man on his Facebook post talking about he don't fuck with women that's tall with big feet, do you think I'm finna go on there arguing with him about how he need to give us a chance? Bye. Cause the man that's for me is gonna rub on my big feet and love them and not say a word. I ain't had no complaints from a man about my feet. They big, size 12. Since I was 12. And if I have any inkling that you are, is that a word? Inkling? Inclination? Whatever. If I have any hints that you got a problem with the size of my feet or the size of my height, I don't want to be with you. Or my hands. My hands are feminine or whatever, but they big. Y'all see how big my hands are. I don't want to hear no comments. So little things like that, it's not always just a matter of trying to put anybody down for their size. There's other things that come along with the height differences and the size differences. So I think it should be fair for people to have their physical preferences. I think physical attraction is not priority. I ain't gonna say physical attraction is not priority. Physical appearance is not top priority, but physical attraction is important in who you're going to spend your time with or your life with, or who you're going to procreate with. Being compatible, shared values. If you want children in the future, what does that look like? How do you want to raise your children? All of these things matter. So to try to minimize it to all women need is money and height, y'all know better than that. Okay. I think that's pretty much wraps up what I wanted to discuss on this episode. Again, we talked about you fumbled the ball. Good women aren't appreciated until they're gone. So we talked about how men can have these great women in their lives and take them for granted and do these things that women have left their men for, not willing to grow, not willing to deal with trauma, being alcoholics, abusive, adulterers, cheaters, being stagnant, all of these things, baby mama drama or whatever. All of these things that will cause a woman to check out and leave your ass. Then you get shocked because you think that you never are going to lose her. You're never going to deal with breaking up, or if you break up, she'll be back. It's not the end. And then it really is the end. And then you're facing what Diddy's facing now, regret and shame, and thinking that, you know, you wish it could be it could be different or could be better, but it's not. It's too late. So what they say, what Boys to Men them say, do not wait until the water runs dry. Pay attention to those signs. If you, even if things are going well, it doesn't necessarily have to be trouble in paradise. If you're noticing a change in your partner, like they're not talking to you as much, they're disconnected, they don't want to be intimate with you, they are irritable and irritated with you, they're focusing on their relationship with everybody else but you, find out what's going on if you really want the relationship and try to see how you guys can work it out. Otherwise, she's gonna be gone. She's gonna move on. And we also talked about the qualities that men need to possess in order to have the woman that they desire. Not the woman that you just find attractive, but the woman that checks off all your boxes. So remember, y'all, I'm going to be coming live every Wednesday for Cool Weirdos, the Cool Weirdos podcast, but also make sure you are following me on all my platforms: YouTube, Asha Cerise, Facebook, Asha Cerise. Make sure you all engage in my reels and everything, because that's where I'm posting most often. Instagram, show me love. Make sure you're following me here. If you want to listen to this playback and you want to drive and listen to it, it'll be up probably tomorrow, because I am recording it for my Spotify and my Apple Podcast listeners. The Cool Weirdos Podcast, you can actually subscribe to it on Spotify as well, or Apple Music. I am a life coach, y'all, so I do help with self-discovery, healing, self-love journey, all of that, work-life balance, all of the things. But mostly I work with clients who are healing from divorce, separation from their partners, breakups, heartbreak, and abusive relationships, toxic relationships, things of that nature. Especially those people who are ready to go on their self-discovery so that they can know themselves and have that self-awareness and have that emotional intelligence. At the end of each session, I like to pull a self-discovery card and a self-love card. So I'm going to do that now. And you all can ponder on this and take it with you after the show, and maybe journal or whatever you want to do. The first one is, what can I be kinder towards myself for today? What can I be kinder towards myself for today? What you been beating yourself up about, y'all? Think about that and figure out how you can be kinder to yourself. And the self-love card, let's shuffle that up. Again, make sure you are subscribed to everything. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 8. I'm going to do my best to come live at 8 o'clock every Wednesday. If you want me to talk about a particular subject, or you want me to touch on something, feel free to inbox me or comment on one of my posts, and I would be glad to talk about it. And if you would like to book a coaching session, you can book a discovery call. That link is in my bio. The discovery calls are free for right now, so you can book a discovery call to find out how I can help you with your needs. Self-love card says, what boundary would benefit me the most to set with myself? Why haven't I set it yet? So whatever boundaries you need to set, think about that, because we just got into 2023. This is a great time to set them boundaries. Stop letting shit slide, and let people know what you're not accepting for this year. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This was another episode of the Cool Weirdos Podcast, first one of 2023. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you subscribe to everything, and I will talk to y'all later. I got to stop all 4 of these things, so give me a second. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you here. I'll do that in a second. Thank you. Thank you.